And welcome back to News Views, everyone. I'm Stacey Baca. This month, Governor Quinn signed legislation imposing the state's first ever limits on campaign contributions. The governor called it a crucial and important step for ethics reform. Now, most Illinoisans would probably agree that the state certainly needs some reforms. One former governor, Republican George Ryan, is in a federal prison for corruption. Another one of our former governors, Democrat Rod Blagojevich, faces trial next year on corruption charges. Now, Dan Proft, what specifically do you think about this ethics legislation? Are you on board with it?
No, it's a sham. It's an absolute sham. It's an embarrassment. All that it does is further codify the entrenched interest in Springfield. Because what it did was it limited individual contributions, campaign contributions,
right,
but no limits on legislative leaders. Right?
So what would you do?
So it consolidates power in Mike Madigan's hands, the same guys that have been running state government for 25 years. Campaign contributions is not the problem. It's not campaign finance that's the problem. It's the size, scope, and expense of state government. P.G. O'Rourke, the noted political humorist, used to say that as long as buying and selling is controlled by legislation, the first thing to be bought and sold will be legislators.
All right, so to clean everything up, what would you do specifically? If what Governor Quinn is doing now you're saying is a sham, what's your plan to clean everything up?
Well, you diffuse power away from state government. I mean, there are things you can do to improve transparency in state government. You can expand the application of the Open Meetings Act. You can put check registers online. You can do online bidding of state contracts. All that stuff is helpful, but unless you get the core systems of state government correct, unless you diffuse power away from the hands of very few folks in Springfield, Mike Madigan, John Cullerton, the other Chicago Democrats, as long as they are going to be in control of this system and the levers of power, you will continue to have corruption endemic to the system. It's just too big and too expensive. All
right, you're bringing up the Democrats. Let's talk about this. If you're going to be a Republican governor and you still have to work with the House, Senate controlled by the Democrats, how do you really expect to get anything done, or do you?
Yeah, no, you absolutely. The way you do it is you build non-traditional coalitions around issues of common interest. Right? So, for example, we were talking about school choice before. James Meeks is a Democrat. A lot of minority legislators who support school choice are Democrats, African Americans and Latinos. On that issue, I build a coalition around the policy choice. It's not about personalities. It's about party affiliation. It's about policy choices.
You really think it's not about party affiliation?
Well, it doesn't have to be. As governor, my point is going to be it is about the policy choices. Forget the party labels and look at the policy choices before us. Address these challenges in a substantive way that manifestly improves the quality of life for Illinois families and for these folks' constituencies, and you can build coalitions. It's surprising what you can do. They did it in Wisconsin 20 years ago. It was Tommy Thompson and Polly Williams, a white conservative Republican governor, black female Democrat state legislator, who came together to move school choice in Milwaukee. It can be done.
All right, well, let's talk about an issue then that has seemed to divide Republicans on one side, Democrats on the other, and that is the Thompson Correctional Facility, right, where the Guantanamo Bay detainees are going to be, if indeed the deal goes through and the state sells the prison facility to the federal government, they're going to be brought here. Now, you're thinking that's a terrible idea, and that's really staying on the Republican side. Most Republicans are saying what you're saying. Why do you think it's a terrible idea?
Well, I mean, one of the things, the argument that's being made is this was going to create jobs, right? This is going to create jobs in Western Illinois. Well, I wish...
Do you think it will?
Well, there are going to be jobs, there are going to be an increased number of correctional officers there, but they're going to be...
So it will increase jobs.
But they're going to be federal jobs. My point is we spent $140 million to build the Thompson facility. The Auditor General of this state, Bill Holland, issued a report 60 days ago that found the state's existing 28 prisons are 32% over capacity. So if you want to bring Thompson online and also relieve overcrowding in our existing prisons, why don't you ship those folks to Thompson? You have the added benefit of improving safety because you reduce the officer to inmate ratio, and then you don't bring terrorists to Western Illinois, 150 miles west of Chicago. I mean, that's a more sensible way to make use of assets that we have financed, but also improve the overall functioning of our state Department of Correction system.
So are you more concerned about our system, Illinois' prison system, being online and distributed equally, or the Guantanamo Bay detainees being dangerous and being brought here? Which of the issues are you focused on more?
Well, I'm more focused on the fact that this does not make economic sense. I'm more focused on the fact that I don't believe Pat Quinn has the executive authority to just sell a state asset by fiat. I think it has to go through the General Assembly. And I'm also more focused on what's the return we're going to get from the federal government for the sale of Thompson. Because let me tell you something, no other state wants this prison. We should be holding up Barack Obama and the federal government for billions and billions of dollars because we are taking on a huge risk, and we are selling an asset that nobody else in any other state wants to sell to bring terrorists to their state. So we should be maximizing the benefit of this. And what I see is Chicago Democrats in Illinois covering the behind of Chicago Democrats in Washington, D.C.
All right, I need this answer. We're running out of time here, but why do you think you're the best one out of the 7 Republican candidates? Why you? Well,
because I'm the only one who's going to turn Springfield upside down. I'm the only candidate proposing policy revolution, and I mean that word revolution, a complete rethinking and reordering of all of the big ticket systems in state government that folks who play by the rules in the state finance but receive very little back from in terms of either benefits or services.
All right. Thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Once again, Republican candidate for governor, Dan Proft. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you very much.